allowed to feel sad. Doesn't mean we're depressed or that we will go down a really deep hole of never going back to being happy ever again. That's not going to happen, because as we feel our sadness and as we sit into our emotions, they dissipate. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for the full moon in Scorpio that is happening on the 12th of May of this month. I will be first diving into the tarot in order to understand the energetic quality of this full moon, and then I will be giving on some more concrete and practical tips and also rituals to apply for this full moon. I do this for each full moon and new moon of the month, so if you want to subscribe and stick around for the next readings, I would love if you do so. I do have notes on this full moon, but first I want to take the tarot and try to understand energetically if they match what my intuition is really trying to tell us about this full moon. But first, let me introduce the topic of a full moon for you. Full moon is usually a time of the month where we are shedding and releasing some kind of energetic quality. So full moons are a kind of culmination point and a release point of each month. So these moments in the month are really important in order to reset our energy and in order to free us from old stagnant energy. This full moon is going to be happening at around 22 degrees Scorpio, which is about the final degrees of the sign. Scorpio is a sign about the deep understanding of life and the deep feeling of all kinds of feelings that you can imagine in life. Scorpio is a really intense sign, and its intensity is really backed up by its ability to feel and to transmute all of the feelings, all of the experiences. Scorpio is also associated to transformation and to the subconscious mind, the hidden and unseen world, as well as some taboo practices. Pull the cards here for us and try to understand what is going on with the energetics of this full moon happening on the 12th of May. Interestingly, it's my birthday on the 10th of May, and so I'm really excited to go through this really important energetic so close to my birthday. Full moons can be a little bit heavy, and especially in Scorpio, but I'm excited about this one. We already have the King of Swords that came out for us here. I will be pulling 2 more cards, and we have the 8 of Pentacles here that came out. That is very interesting. It's very focused and clear energy that I'm feeling here. Oh, and the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so really interesting cards that we have here. Right away, what I see with these cards is a process that has been going on for a while. We have here the 8 of Pentacles that we can see he's working really hard on his pentacles, on his art, on his work, and we can see that he has accumulated quite a bit of these coins that he's been producing. So this Scorpio full moon will be about dealing with something that has been going on for a while and that we've been working on trying to release for a while. This reminds me of any kind of pattern of behavior or thinking that has accompanied us since our childhood, or maybe something that we're even carrying generationally and that we've been trying to work on for several generations. I'm getting this vision about patterns and about subconscious mind and the thoughts side of it all, specifically because of Scorpio, and like I said, Scorpio is associated to these themes, so it really makes sense to me that this is what's coming up here for us. The Five of Pentacles following right after gives us an indication about what those patterns of behavior and thoughts might be associated to. The Five of Pentacles is associated to the lack of feelings of safety. I'm even, being unable to speak looking at this card, because it really brings a nervous kind of energy, a really insecure kind of energy. When I look at this card, I feel like at any moment the rug will be pulled beneath my feet and I will be left with nothing. This is exactly the sensations around this card. So these two cards here are really telling us that we are going to be working on something that has to do with um, our subconscious mind, maybe something to do with fears, with generational trauma, something to do with maybe having lack of financial support in our childhood, or some kind of trauma around not feeling seen, not feeling loved, or something along those lines. And the King of Swords, I'm circling back to the beginning, which was the first card, really speaks to me on a personal level here with this reading. The King of Swords is someone who is very embodied, very intellectually clear and intelligent. And he uses these powers so he can transform his mind. The King of Swords is really that person that goes through hardship or meets some difficult situation or people in his life, and he's able to question what he can learn from the situation or from this person, and that helps him to transform and to grow, represented by the little butterfly here at the top of his head. And so this card at the beginning of the reading really speaks to me about the Scorpio full moon being about having a clear understanding of some pattern, and a clear way in order to rewrite it. Like I said in the beginning, the full moon will be happening at 22 degrees, which is almost a final degree of in astrology, but it's not quite there yet. It's almost at the end, but not quite there. So what I think will be happening with this full moon for all of us will be that maybe we won't be able to shift and rewrite a pattern, a way of thinking, a limiting belief, but we will be getting there, and we will be like 90% close to extinguishing this behavior or this limiting belief. So another layer that I see on this reading, specifically on the King of Swords that we are looking at as our first card, the King of Swords is really somebody who is very clear and really stable. He's able to stabilize his energy in the middle of chaos, and that gives him enough safety to be able to act and to be able to understand how he feels and how he can approach the problem from a more enlightened perspective versus from a more panicked and all over the place kind of perspective. So what this reading is also telling me, if we combine all of the cards here, is what if we can create enough enough moments of safety, enough moments of feeling at home and feeling like we can just sit down and process our emotions, in order to help us clearly understand why those emotions are coming up, what are they associated with, and how we can move past them. And what I really hear when I think about this is feel it to heal it. Scorpio is really associated as well to this kind of thinking. Scorpios really like to feel everything deeply, like I also mentioned, and that helps them with emotional intelligence, because if you're feeling all of the things then those emotions are moving through your body, and you're able to heal from those emotions instead of letting yourself, be influenced by them in your actions. So, what I feel like is really strong advice for us here in this full moon is going to be to allow ourselves to feel our emotions. If we feel sad, we're allowed to feel sad. Doesn't mean we're depressed or that we will go down a really deep hole of never going back to being happy ever again. That's not going to happen, because as we feel our sadness and as we sit into our emotions, they dissipate. And this is really the quality that we see here with this reading. We see that the King of Swords is sitting in a kind of scenario where all of the background is kind of still. You can see that there is clouds, that there is some birds moving around, but it seems like the dust has settled. It seems like, you know, the rivers are flowing normally, and there is no wind or anything major happening. So the storm has passed. So, what we can take from this is if we just sit down and feel our emotions, that they will dissolve, they will dissipate, they will resolve. Another thing that I hear really, really deeply with this reading about the Scorpio moon is that in order to understand exactly how we feel so we can feel it to heal it, we need to settle down and listen. Just be perceptive and listen. A lot of us, and including myself, when we're going through hard times and when we're stuck in fight or flight, or when we're stuck in the routine and unable to ground ourselves, we tend to slip right into patterns of behavior that include assuming and maybe interpreting people's words according to how you feel versus what they're actually saying. And so, what I really, really deeply hear here as well is listen and pay attention to what people are saying, their body language, what words they're using, instead of immediately feeling triggered about something that someone says to you at work, or a family member decides to mumble underneath their breath to you. Instead of getting so affected, just try to perceive that um, happening and understand that it's not about you, or understand what you have to understand about it, but really truly what is actually happening. So, overall, this full moon in Scorpio that is going to be happening for all of us here on earth is a moment where we are able to really make peace with a pattern, with an emotion, with something that we've been carrying on, and that provides miraculously, seemingly out of nowhere, a solution to how we can move through that emotion next time or help somebody else to do the same thing. I think it's a really, really beautiful time. And now let's go into the rituals that we can use for this full moon. So, a ritual that I really feel called to tell you all about for this full moon, in order for you to be able to co-create with the energetic of this lunation, is the ritual of using sound for healing. This has been something that is really, really strongly hitting me as a message lately. So, if you've been wanting to try to learn a new instrument, to learn to play an instrument, to listen to a certain type of music, go to a concert, or maybe listen to a new artist and their music, this is the perfect time to do so. So, the simple ritual that I would like to propose to all of you to do for this full moon is to use sound for your own healing journey. So, experiment with new music, experiment playing new music yourself, or using healing frequencies. So this is your reading for the full moon in Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed. If you want more details on how this will affect you personally, you can drop your ascendant or rising sign down in the comments, and I will tell you what themes are going to be coming up for you specifically. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.